Not Worth the Time with Wade Taylor. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Not Worth the Time. We're here. We're doing it. Oh, wow. Boy, howdy, have we been busy lately. Woohoo! Yeah, I apologize to you guys, but, here we are, and we're going to make up for it right now. Having a good-ass time here on a Monday morning. Just having a good time. Having a beer. This is for future me when I listen back to this. Being like, man, I wish I was still there having a beer. Not sitting in my cubicle. Do I listen back to myself? Sometimes, just to hear how stupid I sound. But, that's okay. We're here. Been busy. God, it's been a busy couple weeks. Been having a lot of fun, though. It's been busy. Had a lot of my time eaten up with parades. I never thought that sentence would come out of my mouth, that parades have been eating into my time and schedule of my life. Parades have a weird arc within your life. They start out as a very young child, you get taken to them, right? Your first parade you went to, you don't remember, okay? It was some cheap kind of just celebration, some kind of town event. Unless you were born in a major city and they had a championship parade, and you definitely don't remember that, okay? There's a generation of kids who are Chicago Bulls fans who went to 6 different championship parades as children, very young children under the age of 6, who don't remember Michael Jordan winning all of those championships. But they were at every parade, and they brag about it probably, but you don't remember it. That's where the starting of parades happen. Then you grow up a little bit, and you start developing a memory. The brain switches on. Memory starts flowing all of a sudden. That day when the switch gets flipped, that's a scary day. I've asked people this question, and I know people know the answer. I think people just don't want to talk about it because it freaks them out. But that's a fun party conversation starter. Fuck asking people what they do for their job and all that stuff, okay? Just ask them, hey, what was your very first memory you have of when your brain switched on and you started, the film started. Somebody took the cap off the lens and you started taking real photos and remembering stuff. Because that'll make them really think hard, and they might freak out and have an existential crisis. And that's how you get to leave a party early. You have to ask existential questions, and then your girlfriend's going to stop asking you to go to parties. We don't get invited to anything because all you do is bring up weird psychological torture tests. I'm sorry. I just want to have a real conversation on a deeper level. I don't give a fuck about Jerry's accounting job. The switch flips on, and you start remembering parades. And you're into them for a few years, right? Because people are tossing out candy. You're seeing cool vintage cars for the first time. You're seeing the shiniest vintage tractors. Sometimes there's fucking hay bale rides going on. Normally, if there's a parade, there's a carnival later. Oh, you're going to have a game day. Oh, you're going to try to go throw a fastball at a stack of 3 milk jugs, win yourself a teddy bear. That's a good-ass time. That's when you start remembering the parades. People are tossing out merchandise frisbees. They got Jim's Auto frisbee. Okay, I had a Jim's Auto frisbee until I was 12 years old. The thing flew great. Just like Jim's fucking work, that frisbee was quality, okay? My family went to Jim's Auto Shop for years after that, because if he was spending the money on a quality frisbee to just give away for free at a parade, by golly, Jim was going to put in quality parts into your Ford. That is a perfect commercial for your business at a parade, is just throwing out quality merch. Because if you throw out quality merch, it means you put out a quality product in your real business, okay? You're just throwing out quality merch, just like, who gives a shit? You're going to do good work under the hood. And Jim's Auto demonstrated that with a great frisbee. Also, Jim had a cannon with a frisbee. Definitely was a pro frisbee football guy at one point, okay? If he wasn't pro, he was the fucking captain of the all-star team in intramurals in college, okay? Jim dominated ultimate frisbee. Yeah, and then you do that, right? Like you're into the parades and stuff for a while as a kid. And then you hit that 10-year-old, 11-year-old mark, you know? You start hanging out with the cool kids, and you're just too cool for school. No, man, not me. Parades are lame as hell, man. It'd be really cool if these, like, I could get into a parade if it, like, was going at, like, 60 miles an hour. Yeah, fucking just extreme parade. You're just too cool for school, right? You don't want to be part of parades in any capacity. You're going there. If you have younger siblings, you're watching them have fun. And for some reason, you hit that middle school age, like watching your younger siblings have fun and joy, like bothers you, which is like such a shitty phase in life. You just watch your younger siblings or your young cousins having the time of your life, and you're just like, yeah, I wish I could go collect candy. You can. That's the crazy part. You know, after you leave after you leave high school and go into college and you find yourself, or even after college, you realize you can just keep doing the same shit you did when you were 6. It's fun, okay? I still play Game Boy to this day. Nobody can stop me. Still pick my nose. I don't eat them. I have grown in that aspect. But you're too cool for school, and you just don't want to be a part of the parade. And going to the carnival's lame. I don't want to go to the carnival. Dude, it's fun. You just got to embrace the fun. Then years go by, and you never think about parades at all. You don't think about parades once. I haven't thought about a parade in years. And all of a sudden, I got fucking hit with an onslaught of parades that I was involved in this year. Okay? And that's what I'm here to talk about, guys. I'm here to talk about parades. That's just this whole episode. Welcome to Not Worth the Time, Parades Edition. Because here in the Midwest, I can't speak for the coast, but I can speak for the Midwest. We love town celebrations. It's a big deal. It's not really that big of a deal, but it's a fun deal. It's a thing people do every. For those who don't know, and for those who maybe the coast don't have, I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up. I'm just gonna assume this is a Midwest thing. It feels like such a Midwest thing. In small towns around the entire Midwest, they have basically town celebrations. And they're just a whole weekend typically, and it happens around the end of August into September. There's like this little match, and here in Iowa, it happens towards normally like the end of August into September Labor Day weekend. As not to interfere with the state fair, okay? We all know we plan around the state fair here in Iowa. You don't mess with people's state fair time. Can't have a parade during a town festival during that, because everybody's at the fucking state fair, okay? You can't compete with it, okay? You have to let everybody go to the state fair, think about how amazing that is, and then come to the Podunk Carnival Festival. It's still going to be fun. It will be, okay? It always is. And in my little town I live in, we have one at the end of August. And it's a good time. And there's always a parade. There's a carnival down in the park. And it's a good time. Now, this is my first year living in this house, and we live right on the parade route. So we could just sit right in our driveway and watch it happen. And so that ended up happening. We watched the parade. We're cornered anyway. You know, at least I have the excuse. I didn't plan to go to a parade. I mean, I did kind of. I still really planned it, honestly, because we had friends come over and sit in the driveway and watch with us. But it's just there. I didn't just drive down to a parade because I was stuck. I would have had to leave the house at 5 a.m. to get away from the parade route in time so I could actually go do anything else that day. So we're here. I'm going to enjoy little town celebrations, dude. They're the best. They are fun. Like I said, they got the carnival games. You got teachers in a dunk tank. You get the exact revenge on your social studies teacher. I saw kids just dunking teachers. Kids in this town got cannons, dude. I thought kids were all iPad kids now, you know? I thought None of them were. No, that's just That's just them city kids. You get down here in these small town stick kids, man. They're still throwing balls around and skipping stones. They got some cannons. They were launching it, dunking these teachers in the water, man. It's a good time. It's a good time. Yeah, so we sat and watched it. And it was funny because our friends brought their kid with them. And she is very young. And we thought, me and my girlfriend, being nice, we put out a blanket. So, because little kid, they love to move around. And we thought, oh, she'll have a soft blanket to either play on or whatever. But being a kid, of course, we tried to plan out for that. And she didn't want to sit on the blanket at all. She just wanted to sit in mom's lap. And I get it. It's scary. It's pretty terrifying when you have a ton of complete strangers walking by throwing projectiles at you. I get why a 1.5 to 2-year-old might be a little freaked out by the whole situation. And then all of a sudden you just have a marching band. Dude, a marching band to a 2 or 3-year-old has to be terrifying. You don't know what that is. You just see people fucking high-stepping with giant metal tools that looks like a monster coming at you. A person marching with a tuba might as well be a fucking dragon coming at a 2-year-old, okay? They're freaked out. And we wanted to catch candy for her. Like we were getting her she was being cute though and getting candy. Which by the way, I'm going to say a controversial statement here. Parade candy is superior to Halloween candy. And now you can sound off in the comments down below. I actually want to get into this debate. It's a debate I want to have with the people. But I'm pretty sure parade candy is better. And it's, for me, Halloween candy and getting candy like that in general, any of those candy giving events as a kid, and it's all about quantity. Wasn't really always necessary about quality, okay? Because I know some of you are like, oh, Halloween candy's way better. I've never gotten a Snickers at a parade. Who gives a shit? Snickers sucks anyway. I don't need a full-size Snickers bar for candy, okay? No, I want all the tiny pieces, okay? That's what I'm after. I'm all about quantity, okay? And you could get quantity for Halloween, okay? You could get that. Sometimes you struck gold. Sometimes you struck what was the kid lottery, which was you go to a person's house. They were expecting way more trick-or-treaters that evening. It's around 11 o'clock. That's when you got to go trick-or-treating. You got to go at like 10:30, 11, towards the end of the night. And you got to go to those houses, and you hope that's one of those places where, like, they just didn't get a lot. Like, they bought candy for 50 or 60 kids, and they got, like, 15 to 20. And then you might just get the lottery where they just dump that whole bowl in because they didn't want to be a dick and not have candy for kids. But they can't have that sugary demon in the house. They're on the Atkins diet, okay? They can't eat all this sugar. They just wanted to be good neighbors, and they didn't want to be shitty and hand out apples. So they just dump it all into a kid. And so as a kid, that's hitting the fucking lottery. Hitting the absolute lottery. Just a home run shot of Halloween. You just scored 50 kids worth of candy right there. Just from showing up at this house at the right time, dude, that's perfect. You know who else is high-fiving on that lottery pick? A dentist. He's like, Cheryl, fucking book that trip to Bahamas, okay? The Joneses are paying for it. Oh, that kid's going to have cavities for years. 2 nights of candy and that you just made a fucking dentist vacation home, okay? He knows what he signed up for. But parade candy and why I think it's superior, right? There's more of it. When people go to a parade or when they're in floats, right? Or in their cars or whatever thing they're driving in the parade and they're handing out candy, they overbuy candy. They're buying 4 to 5 of those big ass fucking bags. And now you think about that. On average, there's probably let's just be conservative here. I'll say there's 30 floats, right? You got 30 floats times, I said we'll go on the light end of 4 bags of candy. Actually, I'm going to say 5. 5 bags of candy. That's 150 bags of candy. Now, there's way more than 30 entries into a parade. So you're looking at just 150 bags of candy that they're tossing out. And it's all about placement. It's all about strategery, as George Bush would say. Strategy. You got to be in the middle to 3/4 at the start of at the end of the parade, right? Because what happens is they're stingy at the beginning because they're like, oh, we don't want to throw out too much of the candy. But then towards the middle to the end of that parade, they realize how much more candy they have. And they got to get rid of it, okay? They might want to save some of it for their sweet tooth, but they got to offload this shit, man. And so they just start chucking. And that's what happened to us, okay? Because we were collecting candy, and just to make things easy, we were tossing it in the middle of the blanket. And here's a pro tip for you guys, okay? You go to a parade. Bring a blanket. You don't have to sit on it. Just put it out there. If you're next to the parade route, not you can't be like 3 or 4 rows back on a blanket. You got to be kind of upright at the on the sidelines, okay? You got sideline tickets for the parade. And you put that blanket out there. And then as you collect candy at first, just start throwing the candy in the middle of the blanket. 1, at the end, you're going to be able to scoop it up like a sack. It's perfect. 2, when people in the parade start seeing that there's just a pile of candy on a blanket that they can throw to, it becomes a game. I watch people get super competitive about trying to land the candy or the toys or whatever they were tossing out for promotional items out onto our blanket via just trying to land it on. All based on competition. Like, can we land it on the blanket? And people were cheering as they landed on the blanket. It became a fucking game around us. The people sitting next to us, whose blanket wasn't even them, they were trying to get candy too, were cheering as people landed the candy on the blanket. Okay? We became a sensation. And we didn't even have to do anything. I'm telling you too, this is a life hack for people out there right now. There are still some of these parades for like hometown celebrations about to happen, okay? They're about to happen, and you have an opportunity. Money's tight, right? Money is tight. Everybody knows it. Everybody's having a little bit of trouble with financials right now, and Halloween's coming up. You got to spend some extra cash on Halloween candy, right? That's what's about to happen. And you don't want to pay Halloween candy prices. That markup's insane, okay? You can go to Target or any place right now, and you can look at Halloween candy prices. It's insanity, okay? It's not ethical to pay that much money. This is what I'm telling you guys. I told you about the blanket. You'd go do that blanket trick. That's something you don't have to, nobody's going to ask you why you're at the parade. Everybody's welcome to a parade. You'd be like, I just wanted to learn more about this town. If somebody tries to threaten you, yeah, they're threatening you about stealing candy from a parade. But you go there and you have them throw you candy. Boom. Free Halloween candy to give out in October. That candy's going to last. It'll be fine. It's not going to go bad. And it's just free Halloween candy to give out. Perfect. You didn't spend a nickel on it. And you took your kids to a parade and a carnival. It's a win-win, okay? It's financial advice from Wade Taylor. How to get free candy for Halloween to give out for Halloween. It's perfect, okay? So that was the first parade I did. You know, and that was just watching one. And watching one was interesting. The next one, I got invited to my girlfriend. Her dad's hometown had their bicentennial. 150 years this town has been around. So they had a big parade for it. And my girlfriend had asked me originally, would love for you to come down to this. And, like, it'd be mean a lot and hang out with my family. And it's like, oh, yeah, of course. That'd be fun. I would love to do that. When I was asked about going to do this, I didn't realize that meant I have to be in the parade, which I was. I showed up, and they had a family T-shirt made for me, and I had to sit on the hayride through town, getting pulled by the. It was great. I got to be on the float, man. Never been on a float. I always hoped I would be on a float during a championship victory. I thought I was gonna win a World Series when I was younger, and I fantasized about the parade. It looks like so much fun when you win a championship to go through town just carrying a trophy. God, it's sick. But I got to be in the parade, and I have to say, being in a parade is better than just watching one. Not even that you get to do things, but like you're just in the middle of it, and then like you just go through the route, and then you're done. Like, yeah, you don't see a lot of the other floats, but you get to see you do see all the floats. I saw them as they were getting ready to go. I went around and walked through the lines. Like, they had it all lined up and checked them out. I was like, this is fun. Look at this one. It's a toaster. Like, people just had fun stuff. I do think it's funny how corporatized, like, parades are. They're very weird. Like, I might have to, that might be the deep dive here today, but I want to know the history of like a parade, because were they always just about advertisement? Like the one in my little town, so many businesses, so many like youth baseball teams like being like, have your kids join our baseball thing, or like our fucking car dealership that's in town, this giant tractor manufacturer, like just tons of advertising going on. And just free merch. But like it works though, because like Jim's Auto, I said we used him forever. And that's the same thing that was happening in the little town we celebrated the bicentennial in, dude. And it was just like, oh man, there's so much advertising here. And it was fun. Dude, it was a good time. And then you just drink beer and stuff. So yeah, all my time was ate up doing parades. Which leads me to what I wanted to kind of talk about today. I'm just on a parade kick, guys. I wanted to know the history of parades. I don't know if you guys know anything about the history of parades, but we're going to find out right now. I'm on the Wikipedia site because I tried to find an actual article written by somebody to no avail. So here it is, the history of parades. The first parade dates back to 2000 BC. We had parades before Jesus? That's insanity. Okay, the only being used for religious and military purposes. The Babylonians celebrated Aku by parading their deities and performing rituals. Oh, man, so the Babylonians used parades to do... Dude, is a parade a fucking blasphemy to God? Is it some kind of pagan ritual? Also, I got to know what this is. The Babylonians. Okay, let's check this out. What is this? How do you say it? That's what I was trying to figure out. I'm not even going to say. It's a spring festival and New Year's celebration held on the first day of Assyrian, a Babylonian nation, ancient Mesopotamia, and Aryan community, Assyrian communities. I'm probably not saying that right. I apologize, guys. Around the world, celebrating Samhain. Okay. Let's do organize. Okay, so it's like basically New Year's. Interesting. Okay, well, we have a New Year's Day parade and stuff. Man, nothing's original, is it? Like, nobody ever came. It's just we brought everything over here from other places. Okay. Anyway, to celebrate federal government's victory in the American Civil War, 145,000 Union soldiers marched in a 2-day grand review of the armies in Washington, D.C. They passed before the president, the cabinet, and senior officers from May 23rd to 24th, 1885. The end of hospitalities in Europe in 1944 through 45 Victory Parade were common features through the recently liberated territories. For example, on September 3rd, 1944, the personnel of the 2nd Canadian Infantry Division marched 6 abreast to music of mash regaling pipes and drums through the streets of Dieppe, France, to commemorate the liberation of the city from the German occupants, as well as commemorate the losses of the 900 soldiers that of the formation during the Dieppe raid 2 years earlier. On the Moscow Victory Parade of 1944, held in Moscow, Soviet Union, in June 1944. Why are we going to World War II all of a sudden? I wanted to know about the history. Like, I guess that's all we got there. Interesting. Well, I guess that is what I've heard before. Is it's all like military demonstrations. That's what North Korea does. I've seen those parades where they have like nuclear strength parades. I sometimes think that's what the military police do. You ever see those convoys of just military vehicles in the United States just driving down the road in like a whole convoy? I know it's probably like for war games or some kind of training exercise they're doing, but I'm always like, I think they're trying to show off. I want to know if is there a history on parade floats? The parade float got its name because of the first floats were decorated barges that were towed along the canal with ropes held by parade marchers on the shore. No shit. Wow. That's something I didn't know. That makes total sense, though, because most towns back in the day, right, would have been based off of waterfronts or near rivers and stuff. So you didn't really have a street, so why wouldn't you build a barge? So that's why it's your float, and that's the parade, and that's the main hub and basically your street. They didn't have main streets. Well, they did, but like the river was obvious, or whatever kind of water you had. Interesting. That's fascinating. Floats were occasionally propelled within by a concealed oarman, but the practice was abandoned because of high incidence of drowning when lightweight or unstable frames capsize. Striking along the first use of grounded floats towed by horses, with a ceremony in memory of recent drowned parade oarsmen. Today, parade floats are traditionally pulled by motor vehicles or are powered themselves. Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. Well, I thought there was going to be way more to that Wikipedia. I guess there is a lot of them, but I thought there would be a little bit more there with the history of it. There's just not a lot of history. I guess people don't care about parades that much. Well, isn't that just a bitch? Yeah, you know what you should care about more than parades? Punandgame.com. That's right, everybody. Punandgame.com is where you can find all sorts of cool stuff to entertain yourself for hours and hours. You have this show, Not Worth the Time. Who Gives a F? With myself and my older brother, Nathan. That comes out weekly. This comes out bi-weekly. There's all sorts of back catalog of podcasts on punandgame.com, so go over there and check that out. And if you'd like to watch this podcast and give it a nice viewing pleasure of me trying to read aloud, or check out the other podcast, you want to head over to youtube.com, search Comic Wade Taylor. Comic Wade Taylor, you can find this show, Who Gives F, and clips of my stand-up sets. There's all sorts of entertainment right over there. Thank you to all the people who've been subscribing. We just hit 165 on the channel. I'm pretty stoked about that. I would literally give my left nut to sell out a room full of live people. If 165 people came to see me do stand-up, I'd be so giddy. And so I'm so giddy that you guys are entertained enough and liked what videos I put out to subscribe to the channel and continue to check out the content I put out. So thank you guys so much to that. I hope you continue to like this stuff. Whether you just watch it and like it, or you hit actual like on YouTube, I don't give a shit. As long as you enjoy the content, that's the important thing to me. I just want you to be entertained and enjoy the content. So thank you for subscribing and welcome to the channel. And guys, if you want to support the website or support these shows, who gives a F, not worth the time, you support my stand-up, the best way you can do that is going to the Punting Game shop at puntinggame.com. The Punting Game shop, you can get t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, stickers, all sorts of cool stuff to represent your favorite shows here at puntinggame.com. And if you use promo code NWTPOD, that's NWTPOD, that gets you free shipping at checkout, guys. So don't forget to use that promo and get yourself something cool. It's the best way to support the channel. We like to do that rather than trying to do like a subscription thing, because you get a piece of merch out of it. In reality, it's a good advertising thing for us. If you're wearing our merch, we love it. We love to see you guys out there wearing it. Tag us in it. Tag Punting Game on Instagram if you're wearing your hoodie and stuff. We would appreciate it. Yeah, so that's the best way to support the channel if you want to support. Guys, this has been Not Worth the Time. I really appreciate you guys checking it out. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. And remember, don't do anything I wouldn't do.